Wednesday has won audiences over with her dark humor, striking visuals, and a simply unforgettable lead character. But have you noticed that Season 2 is packed with hidden secrets most fans haven't even picked up on? Oilia. Get ready, because Wednesday's family tree is about to get even darker and more tangled. In the second season, the family takes center stage, and a twisted mystery crawls straight out of the past. The disappearance of Oilia, Morticia's sister, who vanished 20 years ago without leaving behind so much as a cursed little note. Oilia was like an unhinged version of Wednesday herself, but unlike our favorite gothic protagonist, Oilia actually went insane. Or at least, that's what people say. Since then, wild theories have sprouted faster than poisonous weeds in Grandma's garden. Some think she's going to appear as a ghost in the season finale, like a supernatural cameo from beyond the grave. And there are also those who swear that the mysterious woman Wednesday saved from the asylum is actually Oilia herself, who spent 20 years locked up there. Not because she was insane, but because she knew too much. And honestly, in a show where zombies come back to life and teenagers play the cello in graveyards, that doesn't even sound all that far-fetched. Today, we're diving into the hidden secrets of Wednesday's second season. Come along and join us for another video. The Headmaster. Season 2 kicks off with a sinister change, a new headmaster at Nevermore Academy. His name? Barry Dort. His style? Friendly smile, polite tone, and a strong whiff of trouble lurking just beneath that blazer. Right from the start, he greets Wednesday with a warm welcome speech, thanking her for everything she did the year before. But what at first seemed like just a new headmaster trying to keep the place in order quickly starts to feel suspicious. First, red flag. Bianca catches him on a not-so-casual phone call, wearing that little grin of someone plotting something big, and definitely not good. Then, he invites Morticia herself to help organize a school dance. Sweet? Maybe. Opportunistic? Absolutely. Because Barry's real plan is to use the event to attract a generous donation from Morticia's wealthy mother. A very important detail considering Morticia and her mother haven't spoken in years. Translation? Terrible plan. And if that wasn't shady enough, he even blackmails Bianca. Remember her? The superpowered competitive mermaid from Season 1? Yep. Barry uses the fact that she's on scholarship to pressure her into using her powers to his advantage. In other words, manipulation, blackmail, and ulterior motives. Barry Dort is a strong contender for the most suspicious adult of the season trophy. Agnes. The moment Wednesday returns to Nevermore Academy, she's treated like a true hero. After all, she saved the entire school last season. But guess who hates being treated like a celebrity? Exactly, Wednesday. She prefers quiet recognition, preferably from a raven or a freshly polished tombstone. Enter Agnes, an overly excited redhead who immediately asks for an autograph. And Wednesday, in her ever-delicate way, replies, "I only sign in blood, and it won't be mine." Instead of running away screaming, Agnes smiles and says she wouldn't expect anything less. Translation: we have an obsessed fan on our hands. And remember, at the end of Season 1, when Xavier gave Wednesday a phone and she started getting threatening messages over the break? Well, there's a good chance the culprit was Agnes herself, already operating in full stalker mode. But the obsession doesn't stop there. At one of the school's camps, Wednesday finds out Agnes threw her book into the campfire. Yes, the one she'd been writing in with blood, sarcasm, and resentment. The reason? Just to give her a little scare. Totally healthy friendship, right? Things take a turn, though, when Wednesday discovers Agnes's secret. She has the power to turn invisible. And instead of running away and filing for a magical restraining order, Wednesday decides to use that skill to investigate the new mysteries popping up. So yes, Agnes becomes a sort of useful invisible, a stalker finally promoted to investigation partner. Now all she needs is a business card. Before we keep uncovering Wednesday's Season 2 hidden secrets, drop a comment below saying, Enid. Miss Capri. A new mysterious figure shows up at Nevermore Academy. Miss Capri, the elegant music teacher with a classic charm, and an extremely suspicious air. The kind of person who looks like she's about to offer you tea, laced with poison. From the moment she steps on screen, many fans start wondering, could she be the villain this time? After all, we're talking about a show where even the school's plants seem to be hiding secrets. But would the writers really repeat the formula from season 1, where Ms. Lauren Gates was behind it all? Well, all signs point to no. Miss Capri does seem to play an important role in the dark events starting to bubble up, but maybe the twist this time is exactly that, making us suspect her when the real villain could be hiding somewhere far less obvious. Another fan theory making the rounds is that she has some mysterious connection to the new headmaster. Could they be related? Ex-lovers? Allies in some secret society ruled by cursed sheet music? No one knows for sure, but one thing is certain, her presence is going to strike a major chord in the story, and it might just be a very low one. Music. Music has always played a memorable role in the series. Who could forget Wednesday, all dark and intense, playing the cello like she was summoning spirits from beyond? But hold on, that's not the scene we're talking about right now. Right in the opening scenes of the first episode of Season 2, we hear a chilling classic, The Phantom of the Opera. And it's not just some throwaway Easter egg, it pops up several times throughout the season, which made a lot of people raise an eyebrow and think, there's something going on here. For those who don't remember, The Phantom of the Opera tells the story of a dark love triangle, a young singer, her fiancé, and a phantom who lives hidden beneath a theater. Way too much of a coincidence, right? Wednesday has visions in underground places, Tyler shows up down there too, and knowing how much this show loves its mysteries, you can bet all of this is connected. In other words, if you suddenly hear The Phantom of the Opera playing out of nowhere, it might be time to run, or at the very least, head to the basement with caution. You never know when a love-struck ghost or a confused monster might be lurking down there. Family. In Season 2, we get the return of a true Addams Family classic, Grandma! But wait, if you're thinking it's the same Grandma who was Gomez's mother, you're way off. Here, she shows up as Morticia's mother. Translation: Family Chaos just got an upgrade, and if you thought she'd be the only family member to show up, you're even more mistaken than Pugsley trying to pull off a magic trick. Get ready, because more eccentric faces are bound to come crawling out of that dark family photo album. Back to Grandma. She'll star in some hilarious and slightly disturbing moments with Wednesday. But don't be fooled, she's not just there for quirky charm. She's basically been summoned to solve a tiny problem. The school needs money, and who better for the job than an eccentric millionaire who collects mysterious jars? Exactly. In one of the most bizarre and wonderful scenes, she's in her mansion, which, by the way, is even bigger than the Addams family's own home. At one point, she holds up a jar that appears to contain human ashes or expired flour. Who knows? She takes a whiff of it like it's nothing, while Wednesday bolts in a panic through the cemetery. And honestly, for Wednesday to get scared, you know it has to be serious. Pugsley. Get ready, because Pugsley, yes, Wednesday's little brother, is finally getting more screen time in Season 2. Remember way back in the very first episode of Season 1, when Wednesday released piranhas into the pool to get revenge for the bullying he suffered? Well, this time, he's taking action himself, and not with fish, but with zombies. This time around, Pugsley will be attending Nevermore Academy, and right off the bat, he makes a new friend, Eugene. Well, technically, Wednesday sort of forces Eugene to be friends with her brother, so you can already imagine the level of this partnership. Together, they get into all sorts of chaos. With one foot firmly in the apocalypse, of course, one of their craziest adventures involves bringing a zombie back to life. Yep, a zombie. This guy had suffered from an illness, gotten an artificial heart, and, well, died. But nothing a little magic, a reckless plan, and zero sense of danger couldn't fix. The zombie himself is still quite a mystery. The show doesn't reveal much, but it's clear he's acting a lot more human than expected. In fact, he even seems to be taking advantage of a few situations, if you know what I mean. Who would have thought Pugsley would be the one to stir up this mess? And it looks like this zombie might be hiding secrets that will only be revealed in the second part of Season 2, which won't be released until September. Enid. The adorable yet fierce Enid will also shine in Season 2, but not without facing some gothic soap opera-worthy emotional struggles. It all begins with a disturbing vision from Wednesday. Her best friend is going to die, and it will be her fault. Being the emotionally closed-off protagonist that she is, Wednesday slips into silent protector mode and decides to keep everything from Enid. After all, in her view, Her friend is far too sensitive to handle something like that, but this silence ends up pushing the two apart, and Enid starts feeling excluded, like she's the last name on Wednesday's dark, gloomy schedule. Meanwhile, a new character enters the scene, Bruno. He hasn't shown any signs of being a villain, which is already an achievement in this series, and he seems to be winning over Enid's furry heart. The two are becoming such a cute couple that even her family of wolves would approve, discreetly, with low growls. Is Bruno trustworthy? Will Wednesday finally learn to say I care without sounding like she's about to curse you? And will Enid survive that ominous vision? One thing's for sure, there's no shortage of drama, romance, and sharp claws ahead. Tyler's father. If you thought Tyler's life was already complicated enough, wait until you hear what happens to his father this season. Yes, the sheriff. That guy who was always wearing a scowl, suspicious of absolutely everything and everyone, especially Wednesday. Well, he ends up dying along with a colleague. And of course, it wasn't from natural causes. At first, it seems like a simple case of a botched science investigation. The sheriff had been exploring a place where some strange experiments had taken place, but things take a darker turn when Wednesday discovers he was actually investigating the psychiatric hospital. Yes, the very same hospital where Tyler himself was sent after the violent events of last season. And that's when everything really spirals. Wednesday, always as subtle and discreet as a thunderclap at midnight, decides to investigate the hospital, accompanied by Uncle Fester. The duo delights the security staff and turns the visit into complete chaos, complete with a chase, shouting, and, of course, a grand finale. Wednesday being thrown out the window. Yes, out the window. And the result? A coma. Nothing mild like a headache or a broken arm. She goes straight into full gothic Sleeping Beauty mode. But don't worry, if there's one thing Wednesday does well, it's surviving. And of course, leaving a trail of mystery wherever she goes. With so many new characters, bizarre twists, and theories clawing their way out of the grave, Wednesday's second season promises to be even darker, funnier, and more chaotic than the first. If you're into the world of animation, we've got two really great videos you're going to love watching. Thanks for sticking around, and see you next time!